Do you want to win with your money? I see people struggling every single day. And do you know why? Well, for the most part, it's because they don't understand how their money works. The fact is, you cannot improve anything that you're not aware of. That's why I made this series, Understanding Your Money, to help you have a better grasp of the most important financial concepts that you need to understand in order to be successful with your money. Now, I created 30 bite-sized videos teaching you everything you need so you can make the best financial decisions in your life for you. Now, without financial freedom, there is no freedom at all. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos in this series. Also, if you find value in this, please share this video out and this playlist out because of the fact that I know it's gonna help so many people as we're entering this recession that's coming right now. Actually, I would argue we're already in it. This information is more important than ever, so let's do this. Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? Welcome back to the Understanding Your Money series. Today, we are gonna be talking about the importance of saving before investing. Now, what is the difference? A lot of people, I feel like, have a big misunderstanding about what saving money actually means because honestly, a lot of people have been kind of tricked into the idea that we need to save for retirement. When we think about saving for retirement, what do people typically do? They put their money into investment funds. They put them into mutual funds and 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, stuff of that nature. And when you do that, the problem is there's just a lot of risk that's associated with it. The problem with it is that you don't have access to that money in case of emergency, in case of opportunity and stuff of that nature. And so when we look at why are people successful with money, the most successful people in the world, they're successful because of how they have their life designed financially. One of the challenges that I see in this world is that people, I guess I'll put it this way. The market is cyclical, right? We know that the market's gonna go up, it's gonna come down. Typically when the market comes down, the stock market doesn't just come down on its own. Typically that's indicative, the stock market coming down is indicative that there's a greater problem in the economy. And when there's a greater problem in the economy, typically unemployment rates go up, incomes come down. There's a lot more uncertainty. When the uncertainty kind of hits a tipping point, that's when things start getting really bad or getting worse. And so what I know to be true is that, like, if you look around, and I'll do this, I'll say this, is like 64% of Americans don't have less than $2,000. Think about that. 64% of Americans have less than $2,000 in savings accounts, in safe, guaranteed, accessible money in case of emergency. So if you go around, and this is where people like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman will tell you need 6 months of money in an emergency fund. Now, I would actually argue that it's more than that. The purpose of this video isn't to get into details of how much you need or anything of that nature, but it is to talk philosophically the importance of saving before investing. Because if you think about it like this, let's go down here. And I've got other videos that get into much more detail on this, but I foundationally think about it this way. If you save money, and this is investing, right? So if you invest up here, this is what most people are doing. You're not building your foundation like a pyramid. You're not building your financial base up. So let's take this from a graphical perspective, right? If you save up here and you have very little, right? If you have less than $2,000, let's just say you have about 2,000 bucks, and you are investing for retirement and you don't have access to this money, let's think about what is the difference between savings. It's liquid. You have access to it. So that's the liquidity. It's guaranteed. Can't lose money, right? It's guaranteed. Over on the investment side, it's illiquid, right? And so you have no access to it, and there's risk. So those are the biggest differences between saving and investing, is the fact that you either have risky, illiquid assets, or even if it's liquid, even if it's in a brokerage account and you can tap it out, the worst thing that you want to do is to liquidate a negatively performing asset, because that's just really horrible. And so what we're talking about here is we want to make sure we build this safe safe foundation up. And here's why. Because when the market corrects, right, which we know it's going to, what happens is, imagine if you built your safe foundation up. Imagine you built this foundation, you saved before you invested. The wealthiest people, the most successful people in the world do this. This is actually what they teach you if you go to CFP school. They teach you kind of this pseudo financial pyramid. And when you build this, what happens is if the market corrects and we have a problem and you have this foundation built, let's say your investments lose 50%, right? And this falls off, it's not the end of your world, because you have this foundation that is going to be there if you lose your job. It'll help you pay your mortgage. It'll help you pay your car bills. It'll help you put food on the table. It'll cover everything that you need in life. Now, you can have an opportunity fund as well, and you can have an emergency fund, right? So opportunity and emergency. So how much you decide that you want in this safe foundation is really up to you based on what your parameters are. I would tell you 2 years. That's just me. And I say that because I want you to have 1 year for emergency, 1 year for opportunity. And if you wind up not needing the emergency fund, well, now your opportunity fund is bigger and you have the opportunity to take more advantage of market environments where people are having to make really hard financial decisions. So that creates more opportunity for those that have access to capital, right? The problem is most people are not saving, they're investing. And so what happens is this whole portion of their life, it's built on this one little point of instability. And so when this happens, because they have very little saved, whoa, I don't know what happened there. Because they have very little saved, they wind up having all this stuff here. So what happens is when the market goes down, they lose, their investments perform poorly, they lose their job, they need to liquidate what they have left, and so they wind up with nothing, and so their whole financial life falls over, it just falls down, and they got to start over. So that's why I say when there's, we have opportunity, and when opportunity over here goes down, naturally opportunity goes up for the people that are structured properly. And make no mistake about it, and this is how I'm going to end this, and I want you to understand this concept. And I know you maybe have seen this before, but I think the understanding the relevance and the cyclical nature of things, right? Warren Buffett always says, like, if you look at these are market cycles, let's call them 10-year cycles, each one, right? So there's money to be made when times are good, right? In these windows, you can make money here, right? You can. There's no doubt about it. However, fortunes are made right here, because these are the times when people have to operate like what I'm talking about right here, right? And if you set yourself up so you have access to capital when nobody else does, if you're prepared when nobody else is, you can go from, instead of thinking like, hey, I'm gonna get 8 to 10% during this time, if you invest right at these moments, and if you get it right and you have your opportunity fund set up right, you can go to 100 to 500%. And I've even got people that I follow and respect who are financial experts that are saying that you should be able to actually do 1,000% return in what's coming down the pipeline right now with what's happening in the world. And so this is why I'm so adamant right now about people building their safe, liquid, accessible accounts, making sure that they have it where it's liquid, it's guaranteed. Because remember, when you invest, you typically till you're 59 and a half, you don't have access to that money. You can't touch that money in qualified accounts till you're 59 and a half. And so you need to make sure that you understand the importance and relevance of financial structure. It's not just the best people in the world with investing. They're not successful with investing because they're smart about, hey, I mean, yes, there's an element, you got to pick the right investments and you got to do that stuff. There's no doubt about it. But you have to know how, when you can take the risk, right? Opportunity will find you when you're prepared if you do it the right way. So I'm a big believer you got to be willing to go slow to go fast. And here's what I'll say to this, and I guess this is what I'm going to end with. The hardest part about your financial success is exactly that. You got to be willing to go slow to go fast. So before you risk, the hardest thing you're ever going to do is save that first $100,000. And I know it's not easy. I know that it's a bit overwhelming. Maybe it's your first 50,000, whatever the number is for you. That's the hardest part, is saving that money. But when you do, it's going to help you be prepared for these opportunities. It's going to help you be way in more control, and it's going to help you catapult. This savings of this is the financial foundation right here that you need to build, that's going to allow you to get the 100 to 500%, right? So if you could put yourself in a position where you earn 2 to 4% over the next decade, even if that's what it took you to get there, I promise you, you're going to feel like you're missing out on this 8 to 10%. You're going to feel like you're behind, but it's going to position you for this. And you cannot have a short-term mindset. You have to think long-term, and you only are able to do so by saving before investing. And what happens is, we know this is cyclical, right? I'm just going to write it out. Cyclical. These are the cyclical nature swings of the market environment that we live in. Go back to 2020 when the market crashed and then it bounced right back. Lots of opportunity, right? Go back to 2008, did the same thing. Dot-com bubble, same thing. 1990, and that was in 2000 to 2002. 1994, same thing. 1987, same thing. 1980, same thing. So you can see, sometimes it's 7 years, sometimes it's 8, sometimes it's 12, but on average, we're just saying, for the sake of conversation, 10. So when we look at that, we know that this is cyclical, so why not be prepared for it? If you know you can save up, I tell you what, I'd rather earn 4% during this time and be ready to position myself to take advantage of 500%, right? Then get 8 to 10% for 10 years and then have a bunch of risk and not be ready and actually possibly lose it all and have to completely start over when that cycle happens, right? And that is why most Americans are failing with their money, is because they're following this strategy. And the bottom line is, we got about 5% of the people following this strategy and about 95% of the people in this country living and investing and you know, not having enough savings, not being positioned, not being ready to take advantage of opportunity. And if you get anything else from watching this channel, what I want you to understand is that your financial structure, your financial design, and the level of intentionality in thinking long-term with your money is going to have more impact on your financial success than anything else that you can do. No financial product, no investment is going to save you. The only thing that's going to help you is your understanding of this. When you understand this, now it will change everything that you do with your money, every decision that you ever make with your money. And when we think long-term, it helps you get through the garbage times that we sometimes have to go through, right? And not only that, is eventually, once you have this, right? Once you've saved, now imagine if you could enter times of challenge like we're going through potentially right now, right? Imagine if you could go through, when we hit this cycle, this down cycle, instead of being scared about it, instead of worrying about surviving, you'd be looking at it, licking your chops with opportunity, trying to find the right opportunities that would be presented to you, right? That's what it's all about. Imagine if you could be excited about, I mean, I don't know if it's right to be excited about where the world's going right now, but imagine if, at least for you economically, you wouldn't have any fear around it, that you could be excited about your ability to control the results in your family's life, in the legacy that you could create for your family in that process. So that's it. So if you have any questions, comment in the comment section below. Once again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Go down, check out this playlist on the Understanding Your Money series that we're putting together here, because I'm telling you, these concepts, and I'm trying to break it down, all the most simple, basic concepts that I think every single person needs to understand to be able to be successful with their money. And listen, I've talked to a lot of really, really successful, wealthy people that, I should say people, not wealthy, but people that are making a lot of money, that are just maybe broke at a higher level. Doctors, you know, dentists, people that are making a couple $100,000 a year that most people would look at and be like, hey, those guys must be crushing it. Well, I promise you, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it matters how much money you keep. And if you don't understand this, you're always gonna be at risk. And even if you do kind of understand it and are doing it, my guess is you probably haven't thought about it quite in these terms. So hopefully this added value to your life. So anyway, comment in the comment section below. I will do my best to engage with every single comment. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell. That way you're notified when the next video in this series comes out. And that's it. Till next video, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.